Hey, first video. Welcome to well, welcome to the baggage.mp4 YouTube channel. If you want to refer to me specifically, not just the channel, like, let's say, so-and-so runs the baggage.mp4 channel, just say, I don't know, M. Let's keep this ambiguous with the one letter name. No, just as a bit of a mystery. Because I want this to stay as anonymous as possible. It's only a place for me to vent and talk to myself, but record it at the same time. You'll probably notice a distinct amount of pauses and breaks, like I'm a bad impression of the G-Man or something. But that's just me trying to find the right things to say, or just me stuttering. Let's hop into it. You know what I find pretty odd? What I find pretty odd is, you know how it used to be with the whole, you know how before the Reformation, you basically had to pay 10 shillings or something to get into whatever afterlife there is, and you had to pay the Catholic Church for like a ticket to whatever afterlife I guess you believe in. To them as heaven. Yes, I'm that ambiguous. I'm not even revealing my religious beliefs. I want this to be as non-controversial as possible as well. Okay, so what I might not be a big fan of the way they do things. Well, that doesn't mean I'm not Catholic. It just means I'm Martin Luther. Okay, that actually relates. See, up until the Reformation, the Catholic Church basically ran everything. Well, essentially, the Pope ran everything. Just Catholicism, as in itself, ran everything. But you see, something weird that I just find really odd is how they were able to get away with charging people with real money, charging people money to get to heaven. How did they manage to pull that off for so long? And no one stood up until Martin Luther came around, nailed the 95 thingamajigs on the door, 95 theses, yeah, and essentially started the Protestant side of Christianity. Before that, Christianity was just Christianity. There was no Catholic and Protestant. Catholic was really the only thing. The Catholic was really the only version, so it was just called Christianity. Until, Protestants. The way you actually spell it is different to pronounce it. You usually pronounce Protestant with a D, so Protestant, and the shortened down or sort of derogatory air quotes term is just prod, but it's actually spelled protest, and because they protested, that's how they got their name. I thought that was pretty obvious. Well, to someone like me who doesn't usually put two and two together, unless it's at like the most inconvenient time, then yeah, pretty obvious, I guess. So yeah, here's the thing, the Renaissance, the Reformation took place during the Renaissance period. Yeah, the Renaissance period. But here's the thing, especially during the Renaissance, where people were questioning the church and breaking away from it, finding new ways to study science and technology. That's when they invented the printing press. Just remember, kids, if Catholicism was still the most powerful, well, okay, so most of Europe is still Catholic, but that's besides the point. Actually, no, practically all of Europe is Catholic. We've left. Fair enough. Um, well, the EU at least. Yeah, almost all of Europe is Catholic. Odd. But, during the Renaissance period, people left the church's guidance and started to, figure things out by themselves. That's basically the gist of the Renaissance, just figuring things out by yourself, and that's how new inventions were, well, invented. But you see, I'm kind of surprised, even during the Renaissance, the Catholic Church, at that point just the church, the Christian church, still managed to get away with charging people like, I don't know, 10 shillings, I guess. Well, whatever currency they had back then, like Roman, whatever, probably euros. But yeah, they charged you for a ticket to heaven, and they kept doing this until, well, honestly, I have no idea if they keep doing this. At least I don't think they do it where I'm from. Thankfully. It's a bit odd. But you see, then when Martin Luther managed to come up with 95 things wrong with the Catholic Church. It's like cinema sounds up in there. And nailed it to the front door. He was excommunicated, and then people protested, and that's how Protestants became a thing. Compared to Catholics, I think Protestants are like more laid back. I'm not sure. See, as well as Protestants, there are three versions. Like, you know how there's two sides of Christianity, Catholic and Protestant? There's three versions of Protestantism. There's only one type of Catholicism, and that's, well, Catholicism. But there's three versions of Protestantism. I know it's odd the way I say Protestantism. I sort of leave out the middle consonant, but that's besides the point. But you see, yeah, I'm going to be saying that a lot. Okay, used to it, probably, I don't know. But, like, I think that Protestantism is more laid back. It just is more laid back than Catholicism. And, like, because of the three different versions of Protestantism, Methodist, Baptist, and Presbyterian. Now, I don't know much about Methodist and Baptist, but I do know more about Presbyterian. They are very laid back. Okay, so they're not so laid back they're not so laid back that you could burn down the church and they'd be okay. But they're more laid back when it comes to worship and all religious-y stuff. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, a lot of churches, I'm pretty sure, have, like, seating plans and whatever. Presbyterian churches, at least the one I go to, it doesn't. It has no seating plan whatsoever. The only way you know who sits in a seat is when you see the person sitting in a seat. Then, you don't really. See, once you've sort of picked your seat, you're basically there for life, unless absolutely necessary. Like, let's say you start sitting in a certain seat for a couple services in a row. To everyone, that's basically your seat, or to everyone, it's basically your seat, or more realistically, the pew that you sit in. It's not your pew. You don't control it. It's just a pew that you sit in. Well, I guess it is kind of your pew, but like the pew can belong to multiple people. So yeah, it's kind of odd. But, well, it's definitely odd to people who are not used to that kind of thing. And to people who are, it's going to be odd seeing churches with strict seating plans and dress codes. And speaking of which, there's the free Presbyterian, which is supposed to break away from Protestantism and be its own thing and be free and, be free from it. Like, I know that's not. I know the main reason that it's called Free Presbyterian is just so it's not associated with the rest of Protestantism. It's kind of hard to call yourself Free Presbyterian when you have when you're more strict than any church I've been to. Well, that's what I've heard. Apparently, the Free Presbyterian near me has a dress code on the sign. I don't know about sign sites, but it has a dress code. I don't know if people in the UK use the word or the term dress code. It's the only term I've heard relating to, well, apart from the word uniform, but not every place with a dress code has a uniform. You just don't wear anything that breaks the dress code, so nothing outrageous. But you're allowed to wear, your own clothes. It's kind of like university. I guess you can wear your own clothes. You don't need to wear any uniform. Well, I don't think. Crap. I've never been to a university, not even through secondary school yet. To be fair, you probably won't be able to tell much about my voice as soon as I'm talking in like maybe a half or a quarter of the usual volume I talk in even, and I'm probably talking at like twice the speed, based on how many mistakes I'm making and just how fast I'm talking in general. So that was there's my little religion lesson for you. Okay, so the description of this channel isn't exactly completely accurate to what it really is. So it's not just for me to vent. It's not just for me to vent. It's literally just for me to empty my head of my thoughts. Here's the thing. Past few couple of times I've actually lay awake. I've actually laid awake and talked to myself. I usually feel a lot better afterwards. So might as well document it so I know what I'm talking about. Because I'll probably be talking about a lot of similar stuff. And to be fair, I might even mention recent events. So that's good. Well, just saying, at the moment it's 20 past 1 a.m. morning. Should be asleep. But I'm not, sadly. Kinda sucks. I want to be asleep, but I am not. So, sucks to be me, I guess. If anyone actually ends up watching this and finds me too quiet, please tell me. I might move the phone closer to me. I might talk a wee bit louder. I can't really, because everyone else is probably asleep or nearly there, and I don't want to wake them up. Or, well, I could just plug in my earphones because it is a built-in mic, and that might work a bit better. See, I have a headset, but it doesn't fit because of the case. The headphones do not fit the sort of bit surrounding the headphone, the sort of bit that the headphone jack sticks out of. It's too wide for the phone. But my earphones, my earbuds, or whatever they're called, they work fine because they fit, and they work basically perfectly since I've first used them, and I have them plugged into my MP3 player. So, not right now. Don't want to waste your time. But if anyone actually ends up watching this, please do say if I'm too quiet, or if the volume is changing too much. try my best to fix it. And by the way, there's no real upload schedule because it's just whenever I'm lying awake talking to myself. No real upload schedule. Just whenever it happens. So based on the way it's been recently, it'll probably be quite frequent. You never know. Also, the videos will certainly vary in length. Yeah, they'll vary in length, depending on how much I have to talk about. Might even end up playing a game or two in the background while I'm chatting to myself. And if I have the volume on at all, you'll probably hear it. But hey, what's some good background noise to a channel that's essentially just background noise, am I right? So, well, yeah. Fair enough, I guess. You see, after I finish recording this video and I've uploaded it, I'll be promptly deleting the video because I don't want people finding out because I don't want people who I know finding out who actually runs this channel. So just refer to me as or maybe not not entirely sure. Again, put in the comments what you should refer to me as. Like, did even the funniest and stupidest answers will work, and I'll probably change the introduction of each video to match the name, the nickname, the code name. Let's say if it was Papa John's, I would say like, "Hey guys, it's your boy Papa John's back again with another depressing self-therapy episode," or something similar. Well, listen, I just want to get this clear. I don't have any mental problems, nor do I have mental disabilities. I'm not depressed. I don't have anxiety. There's nothing inherently wrong with me. When I call this sort of self-therapy, it isn't actual therapy. I don't need help. As far as I'm aware, I am sure that I'm completely fine. When I say it's self-therapy, I'm taking therapy as in that kind of way where you just talk about it and you feel better afterwards. Speaking of that mentality, that's how they cured shell shock, or at the very least, managed to, hinder shell shock from becoming any worse, I guess. But to be fair, if you're hit with shell shock, you're basically at your worst to begin with. Okay, so a little bit of history. Shell shock happened to a lot of soldiers in World War One, and I mean a lot of soldiers. Well, I'm not actually sure about that, but shell shock was quite a common occurrence in World War One. So naturally, a lot of people were sent back home and put in a hospital. The same hospital, mind you, were a lot of people who were a lot of soldiers who spoke out against the war were put, because the government deemed them insane for saying that war is bad and whatever. When it was absolutely horrifying, to be honest. people dying left and right, having to watch people that suffocate or asphyxiate, or be asphyxiated in mustard gas, people being irritated by chlorine gas and whatever. It was not a pretty sight. No matter where the war was, it was not a pretty sight. Sure, there were places that you could be, there were places you could be that were better, objectively better compared to others, but they all had their problems. Mainly the fact that if you poked your head up, you'd get shot and die instantly. Apart from some lad who apparently survived being hit with a headshot by a sniper. It was his helmet protected him, but the blow was enough to knock him out for a couple minutes. He then woke up later, and I'm not sure. Okay, back to shell shock. Shell shock basically made people act very, I don't know, jittery and well, okay, so essentially they had no control over themselves, no control over their movements, muscles, and whatever. So they would sporadically jump and jitter and leap around. I don't know. They basically just couldn't control themselves. They thought it was okay. They thought it was a physical affliction, condition, whatever. For example, a concussion from being hit with shells or a bomb or something like that, or too many blows to the head in general, or any other kind of physical condition that you would have gotten from being hurt. But no, it was actually a mental condition caused by being caused from being traumatized by the war. All the screaming, the crying, all the screaming of people dying, the crying, having to look at dead bodies, watching people get shot, getting blood all over yourself, dirt, and just end up being in horrible conditions, especially in France. Like horrible conditions. It was freezing. It was freezing. It was wet and soggy. It was just awful. And Lord help you if it rained. They did put like boards down so they wouldn't lock you. I'm not sure if they even did that. That was just really bad. Also, speaking of Lord help you if you weather, Lord help you if it snowed. That would have been awful. Though on Christmas 1914 they did manage to get a good game of football out of it. So this is what you Americans would call soccer. The incorrect term. But yeah, played a good game of footy on a Christmas day. I'm guessing it was the British and the Germans, despite it probably being in France, snowing or whatever. But yeah, they did a good game of footy, but on Christmas Day, so that was pretty good. Back to shell shock. Okay, it's twice about to say that because I go off on tangents. You'll notice you'll notice a pattern of things. I will go off on tangents very often. Say things like listen or you see or back to whatever, and I will try my best to get back to wherever I was. Oh yes. Explaining why shell shock was a thing. Well, okay, I've already explained what really caused it and whatever and what like symptoms I guess. And you see, they couldn't really find a way of curing it, or even just worse, or even just temporarily you know, I'm making it better for the person who's affected until they realized that it was just trauma from fighting in the war. So they just sat down and had to get the other one to had to get the soldier to sit down, stay still from this one. And you see, they just um the soldier, and I'm guessing some sort of therapist or just somebody who knows them or works there, just they sit down together and just talk about it and he has a chat and chat about what he saw and how much he hates it and just letting him vent, letting him release it all and just get it all out. And that actually proved to help. And thinking about that one night, that's when I realized that's what I'm doing. Obviously, to a much lesser extent than shell shock. But I just have a lot of stuff up in my head. I talk about it to myself or to the phone, and I feel better afterwards. I feel a lot better. I feel good enough to sleep, even that's what I should be doing anyway. But here's the thing. That's another thing I'll probably be saying a lot. I don't just talk to myself late at night, because I'm not always up late at night. Whenever I'm alone, just in general, whenever I'm alone or people are out of earshot, in general, whenever no one's around to listen, I just talk to myself about something about something that's been bugging me, or just anything that pops into my head at the time. I just talk about it, move on. Usually in front of a mirror to simulate talking to somebody else, just like what I'm doing with the phone. And the reason why I don't, go and talk to other people about it is two reasons. Or, well, there are two reasons. Number one, I don't want to alarm them or worry them or make them think I need help or that there's something wrong with me. Because I don't need help. Well, not mental, like mental or therapy, help, whatever. And there's nothing wrong with me, apart from the fact that I'm quite fat. But that's besides the point. That's another line I'll probably be saying a lot whenever, referring to something outside of the main point. Pretty sure that's why that line was invented. But anyway, the two reasons, I've already went over one. I don't want to alarm people. I don't want to worry them. And the second one is the stuff I talk to myself about that I want to get out of my head. It's not stuff I'm comfortable with talking face to face to other people about. So I talk to a mirror, I talk to my ceiling or my near pitch black room at night, or I broadcast nearly all of it to a bunch of randos on the internet. Perfect strategy, isn't it? But yeah, that was that. And more about what I was just on about in the next video. Stuff I'm not comfortable talking to other people about it, which is why I made this YouTube channel in the first place. Because talking to a mirror is not enough. To the people watching this, just think of it as I'm talking to you. Yeah, that'll probably go down quite weird especially when I start to open up a lot more. Let's just say I'm someone you just like. I'm someone you just met, and he's really talkative. And the more you talk to him, the more he opens up. I have an analogy in my head, but again, I don't want to say it now because I've already been talking to myself for about half an hour. And I don't want to drag it out any longer. I don't want it to be too boring. So, yeah, that has been. Do you really need an outro? I don't know. Before I end off this wee video, I just want to say 3 things. Number 1. I actually didn't know what I was going to say. Number 1. In the comments, put what you want me to refer to myself as in the outro, no, in the intros of these videos or whatever. And if this little thing gets popular enough, I might change it up every video. You never know. Number 2. No, that's all I want to say. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. And good night, good day, good evening, good afternoon. But for me, it's a good night.